Good morning.
What's happening, everybody? Everybody hearing me? Give me a thumbs up. Right. First time. Man, Adam, you got everybody to join early.
I hope it's good.
Marketing to work. So what is going on? Tell me something good. Laura, you doing okay? Unmute.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I guess I'm not hearing everybody here. All right, let me fix this. All right. Talk to me, Laura. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Right.
Well, we're seeing a few more homes come on the market and actually getting some calls, people calling me back. So initial signs are looking better.
Thanks for talking, Tom. I can hear you. All right. I get this every time I go back and forth between Zoom and this my Zoho. My settings, internal microphones and speakers settings are mixed up. So what's new? Everyone say hello to Donna. Hi, Donna. Sorry, I really like The Sopranos, my favorite show ever. So I used that on the Facebook page. So you can't leave now, Donna. You're in the family. Trish, how you doing?
Doing well. Good morning, everyone.
How is San Diego and Southern Cal doing? You guys
Pouring rain.
Oh, raining?
Yeah. It's been the rainiest season ever here. Like Seattle. Yeah, no drought. No drought in sight.
Keisha, you can't hear us? Chandra, how's it going there? You're on mute.
can never operate this thing. It's going good. How's everyone else?
Tom, what was it you were saying when my speaker started working? You were more inventory coming on the market or no?
Yeah, no, we're starting to see, we're all the way up to 11 homes on the market now. Was as low as 4 for a while, but they're still selling crazy fast. The builders are starting to build again, and a couple new developments coming in, so they're feeling optimistic.
Is that just for your town?
Well, the Southeast Metro, yeah, Cottage Grove is the fastest growing suburb of the Twin Cities. Built 380 homes last year. Probably won't do that many this year, but
Would you say 11 active listings in Cottage Grove? Is that it?
for resale homes,
Yeah.
there's about 40 builders homes. The builders have been screwing up, playing games with our MLS for so long. You just gotta filter them out. They can't believe them, can't count them, they're just listing, canceling, relisting.
Christy, how's things in Atlanta? Still cold?
No, it's weather is warming up this week. So I was in San Fran last week. So I heard it was cold last week, but this week has been good.
I was on with Keisha yesterday, and I think it was like 30 degrees or something, right? It was cold.
In the morning, yes, but then it warms up to yesterday was probably about 60 something, and today,
Yeah.
and tomorrow will be in the 70s. So
Hey, Trish, it's unusual everywhere.
yeah.
Erica, you in Japan still?
Yeah, I am. It's midnight here, Wednesday morning.
Well, I'm glad you could get on. That's great.
Yeah, we had a little late dinner and I had a notification, so I figured I'd jump on and stay on as long as I can. So yeah, Japan's beautiful, enjoying every second of it. So yeah.
Well, cool. That's awesome. Mick, you doing all right there, bud? You on the phone? Like he's talking away. Negotiating those $1 million deals. All right. Well, so anybody else got anything want to talk about? Say anything about? Donna, why don't you introduce yourself now? I think we can kind of get started here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Donna. I'm a new agent here in Southeast Idaho, getting started, and I'm excited to be here with you. I was supposed to go in the office today, but the roads are so bad with snow, I'm staying home.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad you could jump on then. Maybe you were going to probably get on late, but there's
It
Norvell and Rosaline. What's happening, Norvell?
Doing good. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great. Doing very well. I'm excited to talk about this subject and then turn it over to Adam. Adam, how much time do you think you'll need on yours?
15, 20 minutes, maybe depends on questions and what people have to say.
Okay, cool. Everybody got on here for Adam's talk, right? And they just love talking about search engine optimization and all that geeky stuff. All right, so we can go way down in the weeds on search engine optimization, and we'll get stuck with people like, wait, how do I get there, Ray? What do I log in? So we're going to go through this very quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Adam. I'm going to give you a couple of little things that you can start looking at, and just some quick and easy ways to judge one website against another. Just kind of run it through a sniff test, if you will. But again, if we want to get into deeper conversations, we can go really, really deep and take all day long learning about basics of search engine optimization. But I put together just a few things. And was anybody at Summit last year in Dallas? Who was there? Adam, you weren't there? Keisha was there. All right. So Jason Pantana actually even talked about this, but one of the very easiest things you can do. Who has a website right now with properties on it? IDX website. Laura, you have one? Okay. You have a website with which people can go on and search. I'm going to give you some language that Jason even talked about at the summit. If you just send this over to your webmaster and give them this information, it'll help you start ranking better, along with a couple of other things that we're going to talk about on here. I'm going to share my screen now. All right, you guys seeing this? What do you see in this white page? GT metrics at the top. Is that what you see? Like thumbs up. That's cool. My calendar actually now. So here's my website, and I've got a couple of other websites open right here that I know are ranking really, really well. These people kick ass at local search. So I'll put this stuff in this little presentation that I have together, and I'll share it to everybody so you can have these links and things. But let's see. Are you seeing this GT metrics here now? Okay. All right. Where'd my notes go? So what is search engine optimization? Anybody have an idea? Has already been speaking a foreign language? Anybody know? So I found it's the process of optimizing content to be discovered through search engines and give organic search results. So basically, if you type in something into Google, at the top, you're going to get paid ads, usually the first 2 or 3 or 4 items, and then you'll get to the organic search. So why do SEO? Couple of things, right? And this is how I got into the business, right, in real estate, but it's free for one. I mean, it takes a lot of time, and it takes time to get there and a lot of work. But once you get there, you're kind of there. So if you see number 2 here, it's consistent. You can you'll know, and I say consistent with some caveats. Google changes their algorithm, and that's what happened to me. I got completely wiped off the face of the earth in the internet world after Google changed an algorithm update. We used to do all this kind of spammy tactics to make your website rank, and it was really, really easy to do. If you knew how to do it, it was easy to do. And then Google just changed some things. They called it Penguin 2.0 was an algorithm update, and I was just no longer to be found at all. So talk about having to pivot. I mean, my whole business was based on ranking on the websites and generating leads like crazy. So so a couple of different things I want to show you guys. So this is my site right here. And one easy way to tell how if a website has anything going for it. Where my bookmarks went away? There we go. There's a couple of plugins I have right up here at the top in Google Chrome that I use a lot. This one is called SEO Quake. I'm sorry, Open SEO Stats. This one right here is called SEO Quake. You can turn it on and off. And I've got these in my little presentation thing I'm doing here. They are right down here. SEO Minion. One thing I can do right here is click on this Open SEO Stats and see how many indexed pages I have in Google. You can see right now I have 1,110. So just a click of a button, I've got 1,110 pages. That's That's pretty good. Most websites, the website builders don't know how to, they don't tell you how to submit your sitemap and stuff to Google. And I'll get to that here in a minute too. But this is the biggest thing. If you could do this one thing right here, submit your sitemap to Google and start having your website indexed. So this is just a quick sniff test of how I can see who's doing well, who's got some pages indexed, and who could potentially serve up some content on the web, on the internet. Just as a comparison, show you these other two websites here. This Great Colorado Homes. This is a guy in Colorado Springs. I've kind of know him. I interviewed him actually to be on my team when I was expanding into Colorado years ago. But he's got his own thing going. He's doing really, really well. Colorado Springs. So it's even a smaller MLS than the Denver MLS. If you look at his index pages, where'd he go? 4,560 pages. In theory, right, every single property inside your MLS has a web page should have a web page on your website. And if Google were to crawl those, you could have every single property that's in your MLS indexed page on your website. In theory, right? I mean, it takes time for Google to crawl them and find them and then put them into the index, but that could happen. What a lot of website companies do out there, there's a tag that they put in behind the scenes. It's all in the coding of the website. It's called a no index, no follow tag. And what it tells Google, do not index my website or this page and do not follow this tag. I don't know why they do it, but I'm going to give you that language to send to your webmaster and say, are my pages indexable and followable by Google? And if not, make them that way. And I'll show you guys a couple of other things on that here in a second. So this other website here, this guy named Joe Hayden, Realtor, he's in Louisville, Kentucky. Let me check his web pages. Check this out. 59,600
Ray, I'm sorry
pages.
to interrupt. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, I'm stuck I just see one page, the beginning of your page. I don't see nothing else. Like it froze. So I don't know if
Are you saying-
anybody's seeing, if you're moving the pages, but I just see your channel. I don't see anything
Yeah,
else.
it's the same for me.
You see
Now
this, Joe?
Yes.
So this page right here, look at this
Sorry.
one, 59,600 pages. Compared to, I'm sorry, I was showing different page screens. This guy right here, this Great Colorado Homes, is in Colorado Springs. He's got a great website. He has 4,500 pages. And then my website, this is my website, and mine's doing pretty well, but I've only had it a few weeks, 1,100 pages, okay? I guess Kentucky's probably bigger than Denver, more pages, but that is a lot. I mean, even in Dallas, I didn't have anything near this many. So this guy's obviously doing something really, really, really well with search engine optimization. So quick sniff test to just kind of go through that. Back to my little presentation here. So there is another thing that's important. It's called canonicalization. Don't worry about that word and don't worry about how to spell it. It's just a fancy SEO geeky word. But you see these different URLs right here? These are all different websites according to Google. There's something called a canonical tag, which means if I go to this page, https www.5280living, if I go to that page, I'm gonna copy that. it's going to look exactly like the www.5280livingchannel.com. Google sees those as two different websites. A canonical tag redirects them all to one website, which is what you want. You want to tell Google, this is the website that I want, just this one. So you could potentially have like 4 different websites all serving up the same content, which is not good. Google gets confused over what it is. So you want to make sure that type out your website URL like this, copy it and paste it, and see if they all. A good way to do it is just go to your home page, and then go up here and click copy. I just copied my URL. Right now, if I delete and then paste again, see now it puts the HTTPS with no www. That's what it's doing. Although it only shows. Is it showing like that? Let's see. See how it shows just 5280 Living Channel? It doesn't show the HTTPS, but that's what's actually in Google is the HTTPS. So try it. Go up here and copy your URL, delete, and then paste it and see what it's actually showing. It's showing the HTTPS. But then check your other versions and see if they show, see if the www shows or not. Does that make sense? I know it's a little bit confusing, but see if it shows when you copy and paste it. If it does, if you're showing all different versions, that means Google has 4 different versions of your website. And you want to make sure they're all redirected to just the one. And you can choose inside of the back end of your search console. I'll show you that here in a second. You can choose which one you want. But so there's 4 different versions of the website. Mine all roll to the same one. So that's what you want. A little confusing again, I know. So the next thing you want to do to make sure you have these pages indexed, and this is the most important thing, is there's something called a sitemap, SITEMAP, that your website developer, whoever you use, if you use Real Geeks, if you use Chime, if you use Sierra Interactive, if you use Webmaster, Real Estate Webmasters, Boomtown, go to their help desk and tell them you want to submit your sitemap to Google. Okay, so you're going to go to, I've got a million tabs open here and I've had all this stuff ready, so I'm trying to figure out where I put it. This is what your search console. You have to go set up an account, go to search.google.com, and you'll find it. You'll have to sign in. You'll have to create an account. You have to prove that you own your website. Again, we can go way down deep into that, and it'll take 5 hours to try and get all that done. But here's overall the basics of it. You want to go here, and you want to go right here to where it says sitemaps, and you're going to submit your sitemap right here, and you can just press submit. See, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different versions of 7 different sitemaps that I submitted to Google. All this is it's a crazy looking file, and I'll show you what it looks like. But you see this one has 299 URLs on it. This one had 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. I think 1,000 is the max. But you submit all these, and this is what tells Google to find all these pages. Here's what it looks like. It's a bunch of gibberish, right? But each one of these is a web page. So like this is a web page right here, and it's telling Google that these are all pages on your site. So Google will find these pages. Their search engine spiders crawl these pages, and they keep going deeper. They keep crawling down links on all your pages, and that's how it finds more pages to be indexed. Right? So none of us, I mean, there's no way in heck you will rank for Dallas real estate. way too difficult. Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, all the other big brands have the national brands. They're going to dominate that. But you can rank for McKinney, Texas homes for sale with a basement, with a 3-car garage. That's what's called long tail keywords. There's like, instead of just Dallas real estate, it's McKinney, Texas real estate, homes with a basement. That's long. Zillow and all those guys are getting better at it, but those are things that we can do to rank. What questions you guys have so far? I know this is kind of confusing. I know it's a lot. You guys following this okay?
I was just curious, how do you figure out how many pages are indexed? What was the little extension by the search bar that you're using to figure that out? See how you're.
I'm going to share this to you guys when we're all done. But SEO Minion is a good plugin. Open SEO Stats is the one that I was using a while ago. That is
Open SEO Stats.
Open SEO Stats.
Okay.
There's a really good one here called SEO Quake. I use a lot. You can turn it on or off. But this is really good. Good point. So see, this one shows 1.11 thousand pages indexed. I've got none in Bing. Bing has the same search console as Google, very similar. And you have to submit your sitemap there. I've done it, but I'm still not showing any URLs indexed with Bing. I don't know what the problem is. Again, I've only had this site a couple of months, and I haven't done much with it really. But the cool thing about this one, and this is a great exercise when you want to start going through your pages. You know what? Let's go to this Louisville page. Such a good example. Are y'all seeing this Louisville page? Okay. So I'm going to look at this SEO Quake. He's got 62,100 pages indexed. And Bing, he's got 431. But if you go to page info, it opens up this other tab. And this is going to show you exactly what he has in his title. Louisville real estate, pipe, Louisville MLS, pipe, homes for sale, Louisville, Kentucky, pipe, Joe Hayden Realtor -- your real estate expert. You might know what the title is. The title is what shows up at the top up here. Like if you hover over the top of the tab, see Louisville real estate, pipe, Louisville MLS. This is the main thing that Google is reading. This is the most important thing on your page. This is called on-page SEO. The most important thing on your page. This is you're telling Google, this is what this whole page is about. Okay. So a good thing to do is find someone who's ranking really well, copy exactly what they're doing, but change it from Louisville to Dallas or Denver or whatever. Colorado Springs. Chandra, so this a really good page. This great Colorado homes right here. This guy does really well there in Colorado Springs. So you can kind of copy what he's doing. See on his homepage is Colorado Springs Realtor, pipe, local real estate agents, and greatcoloradohomes.com. So the title tag right here, this SEO Quake will tell you the title tag, the meta keywords that he used on his page, the meta description that he actually used. All right. Then if you go to this next tab right here called diagnosis, it'll give you tips and tricks on how to better optimize your page. See this URL right here? It's joehaydenrealtor.com. If you click down on this, this will give you a little bit more insight as to what it should be. See, it's got 25 characters, and this SEO Quake says that's optimal. It'll give you a warning like this if you're not optimized, and it's got some tips for you. 120 characters, not good. Try to shorten it to 70 characters or less for the title. Let's take a look at my page. and check out SEO Quick and do the diagnostics. Okay, mine looks good. So you want to go down here, and everything that's green is good. Everything that's not green, you want to take a look at it and see if how you can better optimize it. See right here on the headings, I've got some warnings here. So heading tags, H tags on a web page, you're supposed to only have one H1. That is the main header on a page. You can have as many as you want, H2s, H3s, H4s. And I'll show you what that is. So this one says my H1 is South Denver area real estate pipe, 5280 real estate. So that is going to be, I think it's just what's here in my title. South Denver real estate pipe, 5280 living. Some people will put like something main on their website, like right here, and they will put that as an H1 tag. And you do that on the back end when you're building it. That's 2 H1 tags, and you really should not have that on. Google thinks that you're spamming. You're trying to keyword stuff a bunch of things onto your page and calling everything important. Well, if everything's important, nothing is important, right? But if you just follow this SEO Quick guidelines in the diagnosis, go through here and read what it's saying about your page, and you can go in and fix it. And again, I can log onto my page and show you how to put an H1 tag and all this stuff. This class will end up being 5 hours long. Any questions so far about any of this? SEO Quick. This is a really good tool. Another one of the big ranking factors is speed. How fast is your website? Okay. So there is, find it here. This page right here called GT Metrics. And I'll put a link in the little presentation here. Let me turn all this SEO Quick back off. This web page right here, GT Metrics. You take this and you copy and paste your URL in here. I'm going to copy mine and I'll paste it right here. And then test your site. And it'll give you a score. A lot of things, Google is very big right now on speed. They want your website to load quickly. If it doesn't, people bounce off of it very quickly, right? You guys go on to slow websites, it sucks, right? It's frustrating. People bounce off. So speed is one of the very big ranking factors for Google. So test it right here. One of the things that slows your website down is very large photos that take up a lot of, they're really rich, dense photos. It takes too much time for them to load. There's ways you can dumb those photos down. They're not going to be as vibrant, but it's a better user experience. Most people will look around websites now on their phone anyway, you know. So look, this one has given me an A score. Wow, I checked it a couple months ago and it was like a C. So this is good. My website builder, which is Chime, they're I know they've been working on some of the SEO stuff for all of it. So what you can do here is right here, you go to compare. So if you've got a competitor in your neighborhood, click on compare. And I'm going to take that Louisville, Kentucky guy and paste his in here. He's not in my market, but I'm just going to compare my site to his. See what it does. And again, speed is not the only thing. He's probably not going to get an A rating like mine did, but my site is not nearly as good as it. One of the biggest ranking factors too is how old your website is. The older the website, the older the URL is, Google has gives it a lot more authority. So if you've got a URL you've owned for a long time, but maybe you're not happy with it, maybe you want to change the name of your company or something like that, think twice about it. I'm not saying not to do it, but just think twice. Say he got a B score. I could even do one more and check that Great Colorado Homes website. so we can compare all three side by side. A couple other little tricks I want to show you guys. It's important when you're comparing and analyzing. Let's see what this pulls up. This Great Colorado Homes, he uses a real estate webmaster site. Extremely expensive, and they're terrible for what you get, I think. They do well ranking, but they're super expensive. He got an A also. Mine's higher than his though. Wow. Very interesting. Joe Hayden, realtor, he uses a Sierra Interactive website. You can usually find that by scrolling to the bottom and looking down the footer. You can see what kind of website they're using. I've looked at so many websites now, I can kind of tell just by looking at them. When you start looking at the property pages, I can usually tell. So look, this is some really good tactics he's using. He's got for each one of his neighborhoods, he's got all these different neighborhoods listed out. Look, he's got 3-bedroom homes. So he's done all this work for you. It takes a lot of work to do this, but that's why he has 62,000 pages indexed in Google. So I'm going to reshare my screen. Now you guys ought to be able to see my whole screen. Is that right? Yes, no? The best way to look at rankings is to go to an incognito browser. Can you see this, what I'm doing?
We don't see your page.
Well, it's not showing. Are you seeing it now? What do you see? Nothing?
Just all of us.
Okay, how about now? You see this incognito browser?
No,
Really?
sir.
Now?
It's coming. There we go.
Okay. If you open up a regular Google Chrome, you see the little 3 dots up here on the right, you can go open up a incognito window. Okay. What that does is that erases everything that's saved on your computer already. You know, Google, when you're logged into Google, it knows your search history and it knows where you are. So if you're searching if you just type in homes for sale, it's going to bring up homes for sale around you. So when you're doing a good comparison, what you want to do is go into an incognito browser. That way it erases everywhere you are, and it's going to show just a generic search like you were say you were in Europe or something. But this guy, Joe Hayden over here, I'm going to show, so he's in Louisville, Kentucky. But one of his areas on his site is Anchorage, Kentucky. So I'm going to do just a generic search here for Anchorage, Kentucky. Let's do homes for sale. But these are sponsored sites. These are paid pay-per-click ads. Do those top 2, and then it goes right into organic. You got Realtor.com, Zillow, and look, Joe Hayden, number 3. That's pretty freaking awesome, right? That is, and I guarantee you he gets a lot of traffic. This is the best way to do a search. Could you open up an incognito browser and search? Another one on his page is Jeffersontown. I'm going to copy that one. So I'm going to type in Jeffersontown, Kentucky, homes for sale. I'm just curious to see how he ranks. Add. So 3 spots. Realtor.com, Zillow, Joe Hayden. Look at that. That's impressive. He's beating out Remax, Trillia, Redfin, Homes.com, Rocket Homes. That's pretty good. Does that make sense? Incognito browser? Any questions about that?
What do you think he's spending to get a website like that?
So Sierra Interactive websites are only about $350 a month. I've used their websites a couple of different times. But it's he's got a SEO guy. He probably pays $1,500 a month or so to do. He's got a lot of pages built out on there. He's got a ton of backlinks to his website, and that's another rabbit hole conversation we can go down. Backlinks is one of the most important things. When another website links to your website, Google considers that like a vote. Okay, that means that this website is voting for your website, and whatever is in that link, if it's like Kentucky homes for sale, that's the wording, but links to your site, that tells Google that this site's voting for yours, and it also thinks that it's about Kentucky homes for sale. So Google's a lot more willing to show that up when someone searches for Kentucky homes for sale or whatever. But, and again, this is also subjective, and it's a moving target. Google changes that algorithm all the time. If you do too much, if every link that links to your website says Kentucky homes for sale, they're going to eventually flag you for spam, that you're doing that on purpose. You're having, you're in a link exchange little kind of thing, and that's what happened to me. I got demoted, I guess. I know I see everybody glazing over. I know. What questions you have? Brandon, you're asking a question? I'm not really watching
Yeah,
chat.
sorry,
What is it?
I'm on the phone call and I joined.
Is there more value in getting .com instead of .net, .info? So there's been a lot of tests around this, right? If you can get a .com, get it. Highly recommend it. .net is probably the second best, and then it kind of goes on down the line. It's been a few years since I've looked at that. Some things might have changed, but if you can get a .com, I would do that. Plus, I've kind of experimented with some things. Like I was DallasLuxHomes.net one time, and you're putting it on your yard sign in the front yard, and people are driving by and they see Dallas Lux Homes. Oh yeah, and they start trying to go to .com. That's just what people default to. And if you have a .net or .info or something like that, it's going to be confusing. Anytime you can get a .com, I would recommend it. Good question though. I've used .house. My last website in Santa Fe was the luxteam.house. I thought it was kind of catchy, but I think it was more confusing than anything else.
Now, do you lose any search optimization when forwarding a domain name to like your new website domain?
Good question. Very techie there. In theory, it's supposed to help. Like if you have an old website that you've used for years and you want to forward that one, it's what's called a 301 redirect. A 301 means that it is a permanent redirect. You're telling Google that I want to permanently redirect this website to this new one. let's just say you had rayrice.com and now I'm going to change it to Dallas Lux Homes or something. Redirect that to Dallas Lux Homes. If you're redirecting the entire website to the new website homepage, it's telling Google that all the juice from every one of those pages on the old website should be sent to the homepage. Really, you should take a lot more time and do rayrice.com/Denver to 5280livingchannel.com/Denver. That which takes a lot of time, but the simple and easy way to do it is to just do one redirect to the homepage. In theory, you shouldn't lose a lot, but you will lose some. And then there's a daisy chain. If you redirect that one and then you get another website and you redirect it again, they start losing value the more redirects there are. Good question, though. Anything else, anybody? Let me go back to my presentation here. I know I had some more notes. My techies out there, any other questions? It's extremely subjective, guys. You know, Google does not even, there's over 200 ranking signals that Google uses, and nobody knows exactly what they are except for Google. So the three most important things, though, number one is the backlinks. First, your page has to be indexable and crawlable, kind of like what we said with the sitemap, and make sure you tell your ask your webmaster, is my site indexable and crawlable? That's number one. But the with undisputable, no questions asked, the most important thing is your backlinks. How many backlinks you have pointing to your website. And this is where you have to hire an SEO expert to do this stuff, because we just don't have the time as realtors. I mean, it's like going and doing guest blog posts on other websites, writing a really cool post, and in that post it's got a link to your website. So, Tom, I'm going to do a guest blog on your website, and in that blog, it's going to be good content for your users, but in there, I'm going to build a link back to my website. That takes a lot of effort. If you can get if you got a link from CNN.com, CNN is a very powerful website, right? It's worldly known, and lots of people go there every day. If you got a blog post on their website, way down on their blog somewhere, it's going to give you some value. But if you were to get it on their homepage, it's going to give you a ton of value, because the homepage is the most powerful page of any website, and it goes on down the line there. Again, those are all other things. So number two ranking factor is search intent. Like if you type in I don't know, crock pots, and you wrote an article, you're wanting it to rank for crock pot recipes, right? The search intent is not really for crock pot recipes, it was for just crock pots. So the stuff that you have, the content that you have on your page needs to be relevant to what they're looking for. So the search intent is the number two ranking factor. A good way to work on your intent and your on-page information content, do a search in the incognito window, Black Hawk homes for sale around Colorado Springs. See the pages that come up at the top. Look at their H1 tags, H2 tags. Look at their content that they have on their page. Make your page better. Just make it better. Better content. More user-friendly content, more better images, embed videos, YouTube videos that are very good. They don't even have to be your own YouTube video. It can be somebody else's. I don't know how much I'd want to do that, but you can do it some.
How much of a difference does it make when it comes to who's hosting your site? Say like Bluehost hosting or Site Search or something. Another host. Does the website host make a difference?
How important is the host?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be really, really important, especially based on that web speed.
Yeah.
A lot of hosting companies will host hundreds of websites on this one IP address, and that waters it down. So that's another thing why different website companies out there for real estate agents, some are a lot better than others. Please, please, please. I know, Donna, you and I talked about this yesterday, but don't spend any money on this stuff unless you ask me. I've done it. That's why I know some of this stuff, because I've spent so much damn money and had to figure it out. Wasted a lot of money. So ask me. The third ranking factor, most important, is content depth. How much do you have around Colorado Springs homes for sale, Colorado Springs real estate? And that brings up another point that should you do a web page or should you do a blog post about if you want to rank for Colorado Springs real estate? What are the differences? Anybody have any idea? There's between a web page content and a blog post. A blog post to me is a little bit more kind of like social media. Kind of social media stuff when you post something out there, it's gone pretty quickly, right? It scrolls off. Blog posts can be similar. Blog posts are things that you want to do, you want to update all the time. You're constantly writing blog posts and linking to other pages. Like if you're writing, say you do a blog post on the top 5 neighborhoods in Colorado Springs, and you'll link that to your Colorado Springs homepage, landing page. So you can write all kinds of content for a blog post about different things. Best restaurants in Colorado Springs, I don't know, 5 best hairstylists in Colorado Springs. You can link all those to your Colorado Springs landing page, which you can update your landing page often. A blog post you would never really update. You would just write a new blog post. That makes sense, kind of? What else? All right, that's kind of the basics, and I'm going to share this information to you guys, and I'll even put in there, what to send to your webmaster to make sure your pages are indexable and crawlable. Oh, one last thing here. I started kind of analyzing my website when I started it not long ago. Are you seeing this Google Doc spreadsheet?
No.
Now do you see it?
Yes.
Yes. I can't see you guys. So.
Yep, we
You're
see
seeing
it.
So this is the same thing as that plugin. This tells me how many pages I have indexed. If you do a site : your URL, I started tracking when you submit your sitemap to Google, I would recommend doing this. You see how my index pages, back in January, there was only 115, and they immediately started climbing. And today, I noticed them up to 1320. So that's just I just started kind of tracking it. That submitting that sitemap is huge. You can watch your pages just start growing very quickly when you submit that sitemap. So that's very important to get done. That's the most important thing to get done. All right, guys, that's it for this part of it. I know it's a lot to take in. A lot of people are glazed over. But any other questions about it? We'll move along to let Adam do his thing. All righty. Take it away, Adam.
Okay. All right. Well, hope everyone's doing well. Those of you that don't know me, my name's Adam Parent. I'm a real estate agent here in Maine. And I figured I'd spend a few minutes and share a little bit of what works for me regarding listings. I know that if you have yet to work with listings, or if you are a listing agent or someone that wants to get into more listings, and maybe you're finding yourself competing a lot, which at the early on in my career I did. And as I've kind of progressed, that's kind of changed a little bit. But what I'm going to go over is I have 3 steps, which is going to lead into a really 4th step for when it comes to when somebody calls you to get a listing and what works for me. And I have some stuff I'll give to you. If you have questions, stop me, whatever, we can go through that. But in my opinion, and this is really just my own opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, if you will. I think a good listing appointment starts when they call you. So it's very common, someone's going to call you and say, hey, I want to sell my house today. And typically as agents, I think we all stop what we're doing and we're going to go out on that appointment. Personally, I think as soon as we give in to a potential client like that, specifically a seller, I feel that it gives them the opportunity and the license to say, okay, Adam's a doormat. I'm now the seller's controlling this process versus me as the expert realtor. So how I kind of handle it is, especially if I'm competing, if I get a call from a seller, I'm going to qualify them over the phone, trying to understand, their motivation, why they're selling. And while I'm talking with them about that, I'm going to ask some, questions about their property. In the meantime, I'm trying to, multitask and look up their property online so I have a rough idea of what they're looking at and thinking about selling. But I'm trying to understand, what's their motivation to sell, when's their timeline, and a little bit about condition of the property before I even get to the house. From there, I'm going to set an appointment. Now, in a perfect world, I'm hoping to set up an appointment, 5 to 7 days out from the call. Now, I understand that doesn't always work for every client, but that's my goal, right? Because I have a strategy for that reason. So let's just, for the sake of this conversation, my listing appointment's next week, a week out from there. I'm going to hang up the phone with them, make sure I have, good contact information, obviously confirm the appointment. From there, I'm going to put something in the mail that day. My goal is to drip on them, just like you drip on your farm or something like that over the course of a year. Is I want to send them things about the process, about me, about the market well in advance. That way there, I'm solidifying my expertise. So the first thing that I'm sending to them, and I'm going to share this and share my screen, but I have a copy here too to see if you can see if the sharing is actually working. But really what's going to work is this. So I don't know if you see this, but I'm also going to share it here. So I'm sending them a listing and marketing printed book. So I have a PDF copy here that I can share with you all, but I've printed this. It's binded. It's, a dozen and a half pages, and it's talking about, me, who I am, the experience that I have, a little bit about my vision and my service, who my team members are, talking about, especially if they've had their home for sale before and why didn't it sell, let's poke fun maybe on like the agents that couldn't sell their house for them, so I can kind of be that winning agent. The biggest thing I'm talking about is the process, right? And from start to finish, from when they sign a listing agreement to when we start showing it and et cetera to the closing table. I'm also specifically talking about price. It's, I think is one of the hardest conversations us as agents have is, where are we pricing a home? And I think sometimes we don't ask our client what they think. And I think that's probably a big downfall that we should all improve on, in my opinion. I also talk in here a little bit about, what I'm going to do to get it ready for the house, get it ready for market, staging, photographs, etc. And the big thing I put in here is towards the bottom and kind of intentionally is commission. I think we all get uncomfortable talking about, our fee, and
Adam,
that
are you showing this? We see your how to stand out your listing specialist. Looks like
Oh,
your
and did
notes.
anyone see the book that I shared here?
Yeah,
No.
we just see it on
Okay, well,
your.
I'll do this one. The share screen thing here is obviously not the best. So but you all heard that I have a book, right? We all got that far. Microphone works, great, perfect. So here's the book that I have. I'll send a PDF out because clearly sharing the screen doesn't necessarily work here. And in this book talks about me, right? Talks about my services, my plan for marketing, what the steps to get it listed, especially if there was a for sale by owner. I'm including, the 25 things to do to sell your home. So that way there it's intended to be overwhelming. The big thing that I do in here is I have my testimonials. I'm sending this to a client literally the same day I talk with them, usually overnight if I can, if they're not local. I don't want to drop it off. You can, because I don't want to get caught in the conversation with them. So if you're going to drop it off, then, try to sneak to the front door and run away. But I don't want to have a listing appointment in person until I'm really ready for it. In here, though, is their time to really look into me, also research me. My testimonials are here. My links to all my pages are here. It's a nice binded book. I think I pay like a couple bucks per to get them done. I print these in bulk. So they're not personalized to the client. They're personalized to me. So I can give them out to anybody. It doesn't matter. But the nice thing is in my experience, they're looking through and they're understanding all the little nitty gritty of the process to sell. Then they can research me as they so wish. So that's phase one. Step one is creating something like this. Now I'm happy to send it to you. This is created in Canva. It's nothing copyrighted. It's fluff stuff. This is our time, I think, to brag a little bit. Second step.
I like that. If you leave it up to them to do research on you, no telling what they're going to find, right? But if you give the research to them, they're going to see what you want them to see.
Are you willing to share your Canva template for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to.
Awesome.
So let's see if I can, because I do want to show you one thing, but I don't okay, this. So step two, let me know, do you see this market update thing?
Yes, we see it.
Cool. Okay, so I'm sending out the booklet day one. Next day two. So yes, they may get something mailed back to Mac, but that's kind of the intention. I want them to see something constantly from me, so that way they're like, wow, he's professional. Because again, if you're competing for this listing, nobody's doing this at all. And at the same time, though, even if you're not competing, you still follow a process. It's solidifying you as an expert, and I'll talk a little bit more what that means when I get to the step 4. So I'm sending a generic market update. Now this I print in cardstock, 8.5 by 11, fold it nice, put it in an envelope, and send it off. This is specific to their town that they're selling in. So I'm not specifying, what their house is worth. I'm just giving them an idea of in a given month. So I always obviously do the month prior to, of what happened in that market. Now, they may call when they see this and say, hey, what happened 3 months ago? Well, I'll just prepare that report. But for the sake of my process, the next day I'm sending out this cover sheet of what happened in that market. And then attached to this, I'm sending out ideally 3 to 5 recent sales that they can actually see, like, okay, 123 Main Street sold for $1 million. Obviously, I'm handpicking those sales for a reason. I want them to start thinking about where their house is worth, because again, I know the stats of their house. I know it's 4 beds, 3 baths, 5,000 square feet. They have a brand new kitchen. They put in a pool. We can see the public record. So I have an idea in my head of where we're going with pricing. So I'm handpicking some comparables generically for them to see. So that way they can start having that conversation. I'm not doing a call to action to say price your home here. I'm not asking them yet. It doesn't matter, but I just want them to know the data. So that's step 2. Questions on 1 or 2 just yet? Cool. So step 3, now I'm taking everything I did step 1 and step 2, and I use Cloud CMA for a very detailed CMA analysis of, I'm not necessarily going over their subject property, but I'm comparing all the comps I shared with them already. Price per square foot, the averages, I'm doing adjustments if I feel the need to. Showing some of the deficiency of the property, whatever each subject property needs for commentary is that. I'm not putting a value to it, but they're going in, they're going to see this full CMA based on all the information I've provided to them. And by this point, they know what their house is worth or what it should be worth. When I go into the appointment and we do a tour, we'll kind of solidify where we're actually going in for price point. I'll never put a price on my cloud CMA. I don't put a range. I don't put any of that there because I feel as though until we're actually there, you know, we need to make sure. Like years ago, I went to a beautiful home. I knew it was oceanfront on the water. It was stunning. And I knew it was going to be a couple $1 million. I go into the property and the owners are big time smokers. And literally the value, in my opinion, dropped $1 million because, you know, if you've dealt with that before, it's really drastic. And I had given them a price years ago, and I quickly learned until you see it really go there. So I'm sending them a CMA, very detailed. In that CMA has sample marketing, okay? And that sample marketing is what my just listed postcard is going to look like. That my flyer that I send it to all my realtor contacts through Constant Contact. I also include recent ad that maybe I've done like on a sponsored post or something for a new listing to show them how many views, how many clicks, whatever the analytics are. I'm showing them what their future ad is going to look like. So I'm getting them excited about the process to sell. And then in there will be like, you know, how they'll be able to see it once it's online, Google, my website, social media, the whole 9 yards. And then there's an action plan in there of like what I do when I list a property. So just to recap, step 1, I send out this beautiful book. Okay. Step 2 is I'm sending out market stats and basic stats. And step 3 is a really detailed market analysis. Again, I'm not giving them a price, but I'm critiquing everything around them that's sold, and I'm including my specific dedicated marketing plan. So all that's done, they've got it, great. 95% of the time when I walk into the house for their appointment, I've won the listing. All we're literally doing is touring the property, answering a couple of questions, and setting a realistic price and a timeline. They've already vetted me. They know what I'm doing. They know the process. So I don't now have to waste time going over the minutia of taking photos because they've already done all of that for me. They've already gotten ready to do it. Once we go through the tour and everything, the first question I will ask them though is what they want to list their house at, because now I know I've looked at the property, I have an idea, and they should have an idea. If they say, well, I don't know, you're the expert. Well, I've given you information. You know, you've gotten 2 reports from me at this point. So what do you think? If they don't have an idea, you know, it's continuously role playing to kind of get a number out of them first. That's my plan. But for me, this works. It doesn't work for everybody. Obviously, if you have the time and availability to mail them those documents, so that way they're getting things from you, you're going to show them that you're much more of the expert than just by a phone call, and you're putting an effort to that. And with this, I don't ever talk commission, ever. It doesn't have to come up because they're already wowed over everything else. That if they want to talk about compensation, I will tell them we'll call, you know, Discount Brokerage or us, and they'll take care of you from there. That's it for me. Questions, comments, concerns?
Great. Adam, on your, do you actually do a presentation at all, or just let it speak for itself, the pre-listing stuff?
Yeah, my stuff that I mail really is going to speak for itself. Now there may be questions, and I always bring a second copy in the event that something didn't get there. But I'll confirm the day before, hey, I'll be there tomorrow. I want to make sure you got the stuff I got. I'm still bringing copies just in case. But if I'm going through my process, my presentation has already happened behind the scenes. It's really, I'm building extra rapport personality wise, getting a tour of the property, and then preparing paperwork to sign.
How do you show them your ad? And I've got another coaching client I'm working with right now on, it's got some high-end stuff, and we what I suggested to do was to let's really post an ad on your Google My or your Facebook business page, right? And then boost it instead of doing, and he normally does $1 a day or something like that, just to get some branding going in the area. But I said, let's blow it out. Let's spend $10 a day for a while and get a ton of impressions. and engagement.
Yep.
And now let's use that as bait on your listing presentation when you go, so you can show what kind of marketing you can do. Not that you're going to spend that much money on all your listings, obviously, but just as a teaser. What do you think?
Yep. So I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is one of the samples that I'll actually bring. And this is, you know, the top is a flyer that I have. I get them printed nice on glossy paper. I'll bring samples like so they can actually feel it, but this is what's goes included in my CMA when I send to them. This social media ad is an ad that I've done, and this is just an old one. So like I'm not doing anything recent for them. You know, the top, the listing and flyer brochure, I'll use a photo of theirs, and then in the empty blocks I would put, you know, your future kitchen or the kitchen or whatever, just a saying so that they know what goes there. And then my direct email campaigns for like just listed cards. So they're already seeing that, and I'm just bringing hard copies. And then I'll attach to this like my most recent, you know, Facebook analytics for whatever boost I did before.
You'd like to do a printout or something of your analytics?
Exactly. Yeah, I'll just do a printout. Like when if you run an ad or something like that, it'll tell you the report. I'll just print that out. Again, they're not asking about it. They're not looking for the details. Nobody's asking, well, where are these people coming from or whatever. Like I'll have that in general conversation, but nobody's been like, let me really see that, and let me really dig dive into that. And oh, my house is here, but you have somebody looking in Idaho. Well, nobody cares. But I think the fact that I'm sharing it, they're getting so much already. They're overwhelmed. They're probably annoyed with me, but they're like, he's going to do it.
Very good. Rezi, you got some questions, I know. Come on.
So I've gotten a couple of leads off of my agent finder for listings. So what would your advice be, you know, with how you would approach them?
Yeah. So have you talked to them yet, or are they just kind of like cold leads coming to you?
So yeah, I've talked to a couple of them, and then I just got a call for one this morning. So yeah, how would you kind of, with the timeline, and you know, how much like what would you do with your initial, you know, call and things like that?
Sure. So I'm part of several third-party sites that I get like random listing leads, and I would say, you know, 50% are viable. So what I start with that is, because sometimes I can't get them on the phone or an email, is I have a postcard. I just don't have one here in my little office right now that literally says something about like you were considering selling, and with my information, whatever. So I'll send that in a postcard first. That'll be my step one, just for them to, so they can start seeing my process. Now, though I don't have a listing appointment with them, I want them to see me, because they're online. If they're on sold.com or whatever, or my agent finder, they may have seen, you know, 3 to 5 other agents as well. And I think most agents are probably going to wait until the potential seller calls us. So I'm like, let me send them a postcard. Then from there, I'll give it a couple of days. If I can't get them on the phone or the email, I have no problem sending this out. Like there's nothing coveted here. So I'm going to start the process whether they've asked for it or not. Now, I may wait a little bit longer. Like if I can't reach them, I may send this 1 week and then something, you know, a week and a half late, the next phase a week and a half later. If I can't reach them at all, in my CRM, I'm tagging them as like cold seller monthly report, and they're getting a monthly market update every single month in print. I won't send it via email because I feel like I want them to know that I'm actually sending them things and taking the time to do that. That's me in my psychological head. And I won't do a detailed CMA like I do like step 3 until I get them on the phone. But I'll just add them to a monthly market update every single month.
Like HomeBot?
So I use that. I don't love there's HomeBot and HomeBeat. I don't remember which one I'm using. I don't like whatever I use, but so the flyer that I printed out, like the average listings, I'm recreating that, and that's what I'm sending out every month. So it's nothing about necessarily their property. It's just about their town or city, and hoping, I'll put a call to action, like curious what your real value is. I'm trying to get away from the word of comparative market analysis because that's such a boring word. Like, what's your equity report? I have no idea. What does equity mean? That's a question. And how can I figure out how much equity I have? It could be a prompt to be like, hey, can you come do this for me?
Got it. Thanks, Adam.
Do you like Cloud CMA over? Have you tried RPR or any of the other ones? Do you like Cloud CMA best? Have you tried the other
Yeah, I
ones?
like Cloud CMA. Yeah, I haven't used. My old one was always in the MLS, but I think Cloud CMA does a fine job for what I need.
Adam,
Yeah.
can you hear? Hey, how you doing? This is a great presentation. So let me ask you a question.
Thank you.
So, you know, it's so I'm in a market here. Well, first of all, I'm a newer agent, okay, and I'm in a market that's really tight. There's a lot of agents here vying for that same listing. You know what I'm saying? And the concept is fantastic, but the first part where if you can't set the appointment out, you know, great. I got a phone call. Hi, great. Well, listen, are you available next Thursday? What about Friday? No, I really got to see you today or tomorrow because I really got to get going on this and I'm meeting other people. So then that knocks out part of this. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It knocks out
Yep.
part of it. And
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And so my thought is, and I've been there. I'm sometimes still there. If I can, if literally the only option is right now, I'm going to make a business decision. Is it worth it from me to do this right now? If it is, and I'm like, yes, Adam, I'm on it. I keep these. I have everything I've done. I have it on my bookshelf. So I'm going to do it in person. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
If
There
you're
you go.
like, if you're like, I'm doing this tomorrow or Thursday, maybe you're 2 days out, then it's going to happen to go through email, and it is what it is.
Okay.
But if I'm right now, whatever, it's fine. I mean, my listing presentation is, you know, I feel like I'm well versed in it, so it is what it is. You just got to roll with the punches. Yep.
Yeah, because, you know, let's say, you know, they're a referral from a friend, but they have 3 friends that are referring 3 people, you know, and that one is saying, oh, I'll be there in an hour. You know what I'm trying to say? And you know, so it's just a business decision, really, at that
It is.
point.
And I do think, you know, there's an opinion that people like to work with busy people. So even if you're not even if they're like, can you meet, let's just say it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, I have another appointment at noon.
I like
so
that.
I can fit you in at 1. Would that work? Because
I like
again,
that.
that friend that's going right there doesn't work. This is their part-time job. Like that's my thought process.
Right.
You know,
I like
and they're in sellers have always asked me, and being new, I wish I was back 10 years ago because, well, Adam, you're really new. You have no experience. So my response is, well, I'm poor. I have no listings. I have no money. You're my only client. Then I have 24/7, 365 to take care of you.
Like that. Well, you know, it's interesting because a listing that I've been working on, and it's a listing and they're buying a new home. So I got on both ends there. And long story short, I remember, and they're somewhat friends of my family. And she called me and I got so excited. I said, listen, I could be there by dinner. They go, no, we'd like to meet you like a week. Like, can I meet you on the 16th? That which was like a week and a half later. So, you know, I was like almost too aggressive and it came across like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It came across like that. They knew who I was and this and that, and they understood that I wanted to service them. Do you want me to come right now? I got it out of it like that. But yeah, so you really gotta test it a little bit. You know, how urgent. But I like that, you know, hey, listen, can we meet maybe tomorrow at 5 or Wednesday at 2? I can, you know, I like that.
Yep.
I 100% agree. There's a great book by Orrin Claff called Pitch Anything. Anybody read that?
Or what's
He's
the
a
name?
great Pitch Anything by Orrin Claff, ORENKLAFF, I think it is, or CL, I don't remember. Great book, one of my favorite business books I've ever read. He's a big JV money guy. Goes around and pitches to get people to, you know, invest in their $1 billion projects like airports and stuff. and he's really good at it. But one of his things he says is you've got to always be busy. You've got to be in a hurry when you're at the appointment and leave in a hurry. You've always got somewhere to go, even if you don't. That was great, Adam. Come on, anybody else got questions, listings? Now's your time. Adam's an expert at it.
Well,
Tammy, I haven't heard.
you mentioned about the smoking. So I have a listing coming up, and they're pretty heavy smokers, and it's like a 1.4 to 1.6 million dollar property. So what? I see you shaking your head. What do you think?
You know, I think it's the worst thing. It's so hard. And I think us as agents also be like, "Ugh, we're afraid to tell your client that your house stinks." So what I would try to recommend is, I mean, if we're in a hot climate or whatever, like for the open house or whatever, let's just get all the windows open. Let's just bring in some fresh air. I think that'll really help. My goal is if I can get private showings, and we use Showing Time here in Maine for like detailed showing feedback. I'm encouraging, truthful responses, and I'm just going to forward verbatim the response. I'm not going to sugarcoat the response. And if your sellers don't see that, man, your house is gross, I'll let another agent say it, and I'm going to forward it. And if it says like, oh, this is nasty, Adam, the seller's going to read that and let somebody else tell them the truth if we're afraid to. But I think we're just uncomfortable because we're afraid to be like somehow be aggressive or offensive. I don't know. It's a tough.
Is that how you're feeling, Rezzy? Are you having a hard time talking to him about it, or?
No, I was just thinking like, let's get the carpet changed out, and like, what are we can adjust because the patient is so amazing. But I guess I didn't realize, I mean, I know it's a big deal, but I mean, I wonder how to adjust for that. I mean, it's.
Are there any other ways?
Yeah, I mean,
fell out.
if you're gonna do the work though, that's the problem. Like if I'm all for like having it fully painted, replacing carpets, but if they're still living there, it doesn't work.
Have you ever tried an ozone machine? I bought one on Amazon and it works pretty good. It was like $100. And you go room by room and nobody can be in that room when you use it. So sometimes I'll tell clients to get out of the house for a day or two, like go rent a hotel room over the weekend, and then I'll go move the ozone machine around. It works pretty well.
Oh, okay. I'll look into that. Thank you.
Real
They
quick,
they've got to stop smoking in the house.
Yeah, and that too.
I know they're
I
like,
had
we had our appointment. They're like, in the dining room, just smoking away. Like, what is this?
real quick,
I had one of those
on the same line here.
Awful.
I had a house, a client that wanted to sell their home. And when I went in there, she had 7 dogs, peed in every room in the house, peed on the walls, smoked. And I said, listen, the market was 370, 400,000 for the house. I said, I'll give you 200,000 today. I go, bottom line is no one's going to buy it. The only people going to go buy it are people like me that would want to buy it, work on it, and sell it. We can't even bring anyone in. And I said, listen, you want to do it, I'll get some pricing from a remediation company who had cut 18 inches on the, because the dogs peed everywhere. And I said, you got to put 10 grand into it. And they wouldn't do it. They said, you know what, we're just going to clean the house ourselves and see what happens with the market later on. We're just going to keep the dogs in one little area. So, sometimes you just can't talk people into it, it's really, but yeah, no, I had to have a company in there to get the smoke and the ozone machines. And yeah, so anyway, just a story I just want to share with you.
I've heard is somebody doing something with like cleaning the ducts or something like that helps.
Yeah.
Anybody heard of that?
That's what they do in a remediation company. Like with this house, it had all the urine and all that smell. So they had to go through the ducts and do all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Paint, carpet, anything else for smoke? the ducts, ozone? Anybody else
I've been
interested?
told to use kills on the walls. Kills.
Kills
It
the
will help smell. Mhm.
Yeah.
You gotta get a company
On
there, I'm
there.
telling you.
Put that on
They
there
can
and then
walls, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you gotta get someone in there who knows what they're doing. Really, because the walls have to be washed, kills have to be used, duct work, machines, everything. And it's hard to get that smell out of there. You know, you're not gonna do it by spraying some kills. That's all.
All right, Tammy, how do you do it? I know you're a smoker.
No, not a smoker. I just
Look at
price
you
it
talk.
accordingly.
Just trying to get you to talk. Price it accordingly.
Yeah, I just price it accordingly. I thought Adam's presentation was really good and really interesting. I mean, I can't say I'm at a point where I have a lot of people calling me just saying, "Hey, I want to sell my house." I usually have to go after it. I'm still in that stage of my career, and at least I think it's also a personality thing. I think in our market, the first agent to get there is usually the one who gets it. So it's different when they call you than when you have to go after it. But I thought he had some really good points, like making them wait. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I don't give them something right now, somebody else will, you know? So.
Does anybody else give a value when you go on your appointment or when you talk to them, or do you let them come up with the value?
I always ask them what they think first, what their goal is.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I also bring the value, but I ask first what they think, and then I will explain what I think it goes less. Sometimes that's the way it is. That they always think that the value is higher than the actual market. So I explain why with the CMA.
Has anybody else ever done, like when you got somebody who you think they want to way overprice their property, take them out and let them look at the comps, the ones that are active right now, and show them and say, would you buy yours or would you buy this one? You know, kind of let them back into it. Anybody ever tried that? Mick, you shaking your head?
I haven't had to do that, but that's a good idea.
That is
I
actually
usually
a
get
regular practice that I do as part of a final listing launch. The day before we go live, I say, hey, I like, before we finalize price, because the market changes every time a new house sells or goes pending, let's go out and look at the comps one last time. So we're making sure we're competitive. And we tour 2 or 3 homes and we base our pricing on that. And that really helps get the client on the same page.
Yeah, it's a beauty contest and a pricing war, right? And you have to win on both fronts. What's the best value? If I'm looking at 1.5 million, I'm going to look at all the houses right around there and I'm going to go after the one that's the best, that fits my needs the best or has most bang for the buck for 1.5. What else? Christy, what do you do? All right, when she's blowing her nose. Right. Anybody else? Anything?
I have a quick question. This is maybe unrelated, but so as far as pricing strategy, when I launched this, I have a listing that I launched, and at the time that I launched it, it was competitive pricing, but within a week or within a few days or so, a few other listings came on that were priced to beat us. They were better values. They were nicer homes. They were priced similarly. Long story short, our house has been on the market 2 weeks and has had maybe like a handful of showings. And there's some other homes that are getting multiple offers. So as far as a price reduction, that signals that we're overpriced now. We weren't when we first launched, but now we are. So what sort of price reduction strategies, by what increment? Because I don't want to drop it down too far and look like a panic sale, So we're at 727 right now, and we're just slightly overpriced. I mean, we're kind of right at value.
how
What
to
are the
motivate.
other ones priced at that are compared to it?
Pretty similar, 725 and 730. The one that was priced at 730 was just a little more modern than ours, and a little better floor plan, but they have like 4 offers. And so it's 200 square feet more. It's a little bit more modern, and it's just a little bit better of a floor plan. But it's also the downside to that one is that it backs right to a busy street, and we're on a corner lot in a quiet neighborhood. So we have some advantages over this other one. And so I need to talk about a price reduction strategy.
And how long has it been on the market?
It's been on the market. I want to say we're on the market. Let me just double check here. I want to say like 12 days.
12
We've
days.
been through 2 weekends
I
of
would
open
just,
house.
has the traffic been good on it?
What's that?
Has your traffic been good on it?
The open house traffic has been good, but we've only had 3 showing requests. So a lot of people came through the open house. We've had we had 7 groups through Saturday, 5 groups through Sunday, pretty consistently both weekends. So
I know you're
I mean, if the other ones become unavailable, then yours will be the only one available. So.
So one of the things that I do before price reduction, I'll ask the seller if they want to approach the buy down option, and then I'll put it on the remarks for the buyers. And then for the listing agent, I ask for, can you give him some additional commission, like bonuses? So then what it does is that buyer agents that are showing the property 5, 4, 3 in the same day and showing your listing, they're gonna pitch your listing better than others because there's bonus. But I put that in a agent section so the buyer doesn't see it. And then they know to pitch your property more. So if you have cushion to reduce price, try to do a buy down or say 5,000 towards closing help. And then on the agent section, put 5,000 bonuses. If you bring your offer, make sure to put a ratified contract, because just recently I was dealing with one offer which was January 31st. I said, if you bring your offer January 31st, but we end up ratifying that thing in February 2nd or so. So you want to say ratified contract by end of the month, or just whatever date you feel like they should bring it. If you have urgency to close it, just give them 2 weeks and see how it changes the traffic. And then hopefully it will move.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Can I ask another question here on listings? So I've been to some homes and, I'm walking into, okay, so a house is old and we know they need to be modernized and its price is such. But I mean, I'll walk into see a house and we're talking weeds, and I mean, it's so terrible, it's almost like they got to put, I go like, you got to rake it, you got to fix this, you got to, make it presentable. Would it be, and I know how you're going to answer this. I mean, so I know guys and crews, I'll say, listen, I'll get someone in, right? If I sign them up and I get a 6-month, whatever, a longer listing. I mean, would you guys put 1,000 into a deal? Say, listen, let me get my guys out there. Let me rake the place. Let me make it presentable. Because I mean, I did a listing where they actually had the toilet bowl, old toilet bowl in the backyard.
You went out, George.
Online, would you guys put up $1,000 or so, any money to get a house cleaned up out of your own pocket?
I've done that before. And if I know my seller isn't the cleanest person, like I'll pay to go have it professionally cleaned before showings and pictures, because I think it does a lot. I don't know if I'd put $1,000 into it, but like I have teenage kids, so I'll be like, if we need to rake some leaves and stuff, I'll bring my kids over and help them. But yeah, I do stuff like that to be more personable. I also live in a really small town. So the people that I deal with, I'm gonna see again, most likely.
Okay.
I've mowed grass before.
Yeah,
So-
whatever you gotta do to help them out. And some people, like I've had disabled people, or elderly people, and I'll do whatever I can to help them get their junk hauled out or whatever, hire an estate company for them, just whatever you
I
can
think
do.
it's a business,
If you
it's a business
have the
decision,
money.
like we were talking about earlier. Do
Okay,
you think it'll sell? Will you get your money back? If not, I wouldn't do it.
okay.
Yeah.
If I was motivated. Cool. We're a little bit over, guys. So I know Rosaline and I got a coaching call right now. Anything else before we jump off? Final thoughts, words? Appreciate it, guys. Glad you were all on here. This is a bigger one. Donna, hope you had a good time and learned some stuff. Everybody get with Donna, and let's all make sure we get ready for Summit. And she's going to go to Summit, I know. So who else is going? Say hello. Let's all make sure we do a happy hour and dinners and stuff like that during Summit, and more networking. All right, guys, have a great day. Let us know if you need anything. Stay active on the Facebook page. Post away.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
See you.
Thank you. Bye.